.NET Framework. .NET Framework is a software framework developed by Microsoft that runs on Microsoft Windows. It has two major components: Framework Class Library, which is a collection of large number of classes, and Common Language Runtime, which is responsible for running .NET applications. Framework Class Library. It is a large class library provided by .NET Framework. FCL classes are contained in namespaces. Namespaces are the collection of similar kind of classes. These classes provide functionality to implement user interface, data access, database connectivity, cryptography, web applications, network communications, etc. Examples of few namespaces are system.text that deals with the text operation, system.data that deals with the database operations, system.io that deals with the input-output operations and console applications, system.collections.generic deals with the generic and collections classes. Using FCL, we can develop applications ranging from desktop applications, web applications, Windows mobile applications, and web services, etc. Common Language Runtime. Programs written in .NET Framework execute in a software environment called as Common Language Runtime. CLR is somewhat identical to the Java virtual machine which is used in Java. JVM compiles the source code into an intermediate code which is called as the bytecode, and later this bytecode is converted into machine language. Identically, CLR compiles the source code into an intermediate code which is called as the Microsoft Intermediate Language Code. This MSIL code is later converted into machine language code. A computer code which executes in the .NET environment is called as the managed code. CLR provides various services such as security, memory management, garbage collection, exception handling, etc. Common Language Infrastructure. It is an open technical standard which is developed by Microsoft and standardized by ISO that describes executable code and a runtime environment. CLI allows multiple high-level languages to be used on different computer platforms without being rewritten for specific architectures. CLI specifications describe common language specifications, common type system, metadata, virtual execution system. Under CLI, there are four components. The first one is a common language specification. It defines a set of rules which a .NET compatible language must confirm. The common type system, it is a set of data types and operations that are shared by all .NET compatible languages. These common type systems defines the data types and operations, and these data types can be classified into two categories: value types and reference types. Value types directly store the value, whereas the reference types are the pointer types which contains the address where the value is actually stored. Metadata, it contains the information about a program. Metadata is language independent. In .NET, metadata is generated in MSIL format. Virtual execution system. The virtual execution system loads and executes CLI compatible programs using the metadata to combine separately generated pieces of code at random. So basic .NET framework. Key components that make up a .NET language are CLR, FCL, and the .NET languages. At the base, we are having common language runtime. CLR provides different services such as memory management, security, authentication, authorization, encryption, decryption, etc. Framework Class Library is a large library provided by the .NET Framework, and it contains n number of classes which are clubbed together into different namespaces, and these namespaces provide specific functionality such as data and XML functionality, Windows Forms functionality, web forms, WPF, WCF, etc. And at the topmost, there are .NET compatible languages which follow the CLI, that is Common Language Infrastructure. These languages are C#, J#, VB.NET, C++, etc. Codes which are written in different programming languages are first compiled into the intermediate code, that is Microsoft Intermediate Language Code, and later in the second step, this MSIL code is converted into machine code. So let us consider the evolution of the .NET framework. So the first beta version of the .NET was released in 2000. In 2005, .NET version 2.0 was released, and it contained classes for Windows Forms, ASP.NET, and ADO.NET. In year 2006, .NET version 3.0 was released, which contained additional classes for WPF, WCF, Windows Workflow Foundation, and CardSpace. In 2007, .NET version 3.5 was released, which contained additional classes for LINQ, that is Language Integrated Query, Entity Framework, and then in year 2010, .NET version 4.0 was released, which contained additional classes for Parallel Link and Task Parallel Library. In the year 2012, .NET version 4.5 was released, which contained classes for .NET APIs for Store and UWP apps. UWP stands for Universal Windows Apps. These apps are compatible with all Windows operating systems as well as Windows mobile operating systems. So let us summarize the .NET Framework. .NET Framework has two major components, Framework Class Library and Common Language Runtime. Framework Class Library is a huge library which is organized into different namespaces, and these namespaces support Windows Forms, Web Forms, WPA, WCF, etc. Another component, that is Common Language Runtime, is organized into CLR services and Common Language Infrastructure. CLR services are the services such as memory management, garbage collection, encryption, decryption, security, authentication, authorization, and Common Language Infrastructure is a specification which is provided by the Microsoft itself, and it is standardized by the ISO. CLI has major four components. First one is the CLS, that is Common Language Specification, which specifies the roles that a .NET language must fulfill. Then we are having CTS, that is Common Type System. Common Type System defines various data types and operations to be supported by all .NET compatible languages. These data types are provided as value types and reference types. Metadata. Metadata contains information about a program, and this metadata is stored in MSIL format. Then we are having Virtual Execution System. Virtual Execution System is responsible for loading and executing different .NET compatible codes. So here we have covered the .NET Framework.